Fox Sports NFL analyst T.J. Houshmandzadeh is joining us now. T.J., you work with a lot of the guys going into the draft. So how much can a pro day help their draft stock?
The pro day is just confirmation to what you've seen on tape. The majority of these guys, they are going to look better than they've looked during the season. Because you think about it, as soon as the season is, especially for a quarterback, you're working on your mechanics, you're making sure you dialed in, and you're doing this every single day. Every single day. And I don't know who trained Cam Ward, but the pro day, so about 10 days out, you've already done your pro day 2 or 3 times a week prior to the pro day. And so when you do the pro day, that's just icing on the cake because we've repped it so much. And so I expect a guy like Cam Ward to look really good in this pro day because you're repping it day after day after day leading up to it. I just believe it's confirmation. You should never be swayed by what somebody does in a pro day because we're preparing for this. This is what you've prepared for weeks and sometimes months. And so Cam Ward, I was impressed with some of them throws he made yesterday. The accuracy, rolling to his left, and the way he was just able to get around his body and throw the ball. But the quarterbacks nowadays, man, it's nothing that surprised me. These dudes are so talented. They're all so talented, but it's the work they put in. And you get out there on the field. I mean, it was raining a few weeks ago. We out there in the rain. 2-3 hours, just out there. They working.
Key, what are your expectations for Cam in the NFL?
Expectations, I would say, it depends on the circumstances, the situation, and the environment that he's in. He needs all three to succeed. He's got to have all three to succeed. And what I mean by that, you got to have the right coaches, the right organization, and understanding who he is as the quarterback. And TJ's right about what he just said about confirmation. Pro days I just want to see the ball come off. I want to see it spinning.
What else you look for mechanics and things like that?
Yeah, that's what I want to see because the film, I've seen enough film. I already know he can play football. But the things that I need to do is I need to hear the ball whistle. I need to be able to see it coming with velocity. And if I can look at that, then I can say to myself, that's the guy for us.
If you don't hear it whistling, you don't see this, is it going to give you pause? Like, oh.
It gives me pause. Same thing for a receiver. I want to see if the receiver's out there playing volleyball, catching the football, and that's what it sounds like. I can't. That's real talk.
Because in the game, that's incomplete.
That's incomplete.
Yeah.
I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. As soon as it touches his hands. All of those things, when I'm watching the receiver, need to see him drop his hips, come out of the break. In the film, I really can't see that. I can see it, but it doesn't give me the same thing with my eyes when you seeing it. Like Cam Ward, I need to really be able to have the opportunity to stand next to him. Is he 6'2"? Is he really 6'1"? What is he? Because I may have not gone to the combine. This may be the first real opportunity as the quarterback coach, as the offensive coordinator. And you would say, well, how is that? Some teams don't even go to the combine anymore. They wait for the pro days to get it to place eyes on guys. But I think he's going to be a hell of a quarterback. He just needs to, I beg, he has to go to the right situation. Because if you take a guy like Zach Wilson, no matter what you think about him, as the number 2 pick in the draft, he went to the wrong situation and it killed him, K-I-L-T, okay? It just did.
Yeah.
If you put him with Sean McVay, or you put him with Kyle Shanahan as a rookie, or you put him with somebody that has this boy wonder type attitude opposed to what he was going through in New York, he might be a different quarterback.
What are your expectations, Paul?
Well, I don't really have major expectations, and Key says it's all time, learn to get to the arena. You know what I'm saying? As a rookie. Because we saw when we start putting these expectations on these rookie quarterbacks, it'll disappoint you. Like, we saw Caleb Williams. We made all these comparisons. We gave him all these expectations, playoffs, rookie of the year, all of these things. Next, Patrick Mahomes. And so right now, I just want to see him play because, you know, the Titans are in desperate need of a future franchise quarterback. And this is not anything against Will Levis, but he didn't show that last year. So hopefully Cam could come in there and show them that I am the QB of the future, put together a solid rookie year, and that's about it. You know, just be solid. You know, you're going to make your mistakes. But like he said, it's got to be the right situation, and I'm not sure the Titans is the right situation.
You know what I'm saying, Joy? Because think about it. When I was drafted, I went to the Jets as the #1 overall pick. Bad, like
well, maybe
really
it's more the coach and ownership
situation.
But it's
terrible.
It's a lot of pressure on these quarterbacks because 2 years ago, C.J. Stroud plays extremely well.
Yeah.
Last year, Jaden Daniels played even better. And so you got these rookies coming in, and they not just finding their way, they are the way.
Yeah.
And so now you come in and you're not comparable to them too.
Hell, Brock Purdy.
But that's so recent of these guys being drafted in the top 5.
Yeah.
And so if you don't compare to these guys, they feel as if they made a mistake.
But I also feel like a Shador is marked in right now with the Giants at the 3 spot. Perfect landing spot for him. Perfect. Because I don't need him to play right now. I got some veterans. I can sit him. See, when I was coming up in the NFL, rookies didn't play at the quarterback position. They sat for a while. You know, they draft them high.
They sat the whole year.
Maybe a Peyton Manning starts as the #1 overall pick and becomes the pinata in through all those interceptions, but eventually he got out of it because he was built different. Where David Carr, he ain't been the same since.
Carson Palmer sat.
And Carson Palmer sat, and Kittner was your quarterback. So it's okay to sit. You don't have to play him immediately.
Well, yeah, but if he goes to Tennessee, he's going to play immediately.
Yeah.
If Callahan is a good coach, Cam Ward will have a successful rookie season. Very simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cam is going to do really well in the NFL. I'm with Keyshawn. I think it matters where he goes, what support system he has, what coaching he has. I don't think anyone is capable of overcoming complete dysfunction and a roster that is an S. I don't care how good you are.
Who's the WR and who's the WR?
They got Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
He can get open.
And then the other kind of thick dude, or he's no longer there, right? The dude from like Arkansas or something.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of his name. Traylon Burks.
Yes.
Is he still there?
He's still there.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
But
this dude here, don't pay him no attention. I can say
we need to not get crazy with the expectations for the rookies. I understand C.J. Stroud and what he did, and C.J. Stroud may be the one adding more pressure because we didn't really know what that situation was in Houston. D'Amico Ryans was a rookie head coach. There were zero expectations.
It was, yeah.
Washington wasn't in a good situation, but Dan Quinn had been a head coach before, has had a lot of success in the NFL. He had 2 former head coaches as his offensive coordinators, running the run game and the passing game. He had a really great situation to walk into, and I think it was better than what Caleb Williams walked into. So I think that when we zoom out a little bit and look at the situations that both of those guys walked into, while they were both extremely talented college players, as all of these guys are, the situation with C.J. Stroud, I think, is more likened to what we should expect from them. Jaden Daniels is such an extreme outlier. Not that Jaden isn't a complete superstar, because he is, but it is also a really good situation that Dan Quinn has set up in Washington, and he was able to take them to a level that none of us even imagined at the beginning of the season.
But we also thought that, and maybe you didn't, but most people thought that Chicago, based on, they shouldn't even have Caleb, #1. Because that was a Carolina pick. In the second half of the season, Chicago's defense was so good.
I think people overlooked, and this is what worries me about Tennessee. There were questions about whether Eberflus was the right coach.
No, that's true. No, the coaching situation.
And that is what worries me. Whether Dan Quinn was going to be able to have that level of success right away, we know Dan Quinn is a good coach. We know he's great with players. We know what his resume is.
So this may be a Chicago Bears Eberflus thing in Tennessee.
I don't think we know. But I think Cam, in the right situation, is capable of being a great NFL quarterback.
He's done well. Incarnate Word does well. Washington State does well. Miami has done well.
What's the other school, the first school?
Incarnate Word.
Incarnate Word. I ain't never even heard it. Have you ever heard of that school?
That's a school?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was a language.
What is that? I've never heard of it.
Yesterday,
say that again.
Incarnate Word.
Defensive lineman Abdul Carter posted this saying, quote, "Don't let all this quarterback need talk fool y'all. It's already known who's the best." And no quarterback is in that discussion. Like I said, the best player goes number one. Generational. Remember. So, TJ, who should be the number one overall pick? This
is how it works. Any quarterback, that's the days of the Keyshawn Johnsons and Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, Trayvon, them days is over. If a quarterback is going to be a first-round pick, he's going number one if the team needs it. Like, Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are probably the best two players in the draft, where we look at it now. Abdul Carter may be generational. The Tennessee Titans need a quarterback. They taking Cam Ward. And that's just how it is. Like, quarterbacks are going to be overvalued. They're going to be overrated, and so they're going to be drafted higher than they should be. Because if they don't take Cam Ward and he turns out to be a player, everybody making the decisions in Tennessee will never be making decisions again.
Yeah, they will. They'll be up here with us.
But they ain't making no decisions. So,
hey, Callahan, what do you think about what just happened on the field?
So, I get it. But those days of Keyshawn Johnson going number one and these defensive ends, I just believe those days are numbered.
Well, you can't win without a quarterback. It's just too valuable of a position. So, yes, he may be the best player in the draft, or Travis Hunter, maybe some other best players in the draft that are above the quarterbacks. But if you don't take him and he turns into a player, but two, what are you going to do? That's still a position of need, and it's the most important position. So whether or not someone is being overdrafted or whether or not you're not sure if they're right for the system or what they're capable of doing, it doesn't matter if you need a quarterback. You just can't take that risk.
Right. Well, you can't. Usually the number one, and this is in all sports, well, usually the number one pick, when it's all said and done, is usually not even the best player in the draft. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like last year, who was the best player?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. He wasn't the number one pick. I mean, when you look at all the draft classes, like after a couple years, you like usually, you know, and there's cases where the number one pick is the best player. But I really don't think it matters because to me, who should go number one? Probably Travis Hunter. I think he's going to have the biggest impact in his first year, more so than any quarterback, defensive end, offensive lineman. I think he's going to have the biggest impact in the football games he plays in as a rookie out the jump. So, I mean, that's just how I feel about who I believe is the best player and who should be number one. Now, who's going to be number one? You got to swing for the fences. Titans need a quarterback. You got to see if he's going to be something. And it might not be the right pick, and it might be the right pick, but you got to see. You got to take that chances because just like TJ said, you cannot win in this league without a quarterback, without a franchise quarterback. He doesn't even have to be the best player. If you can turn somebody like a Cam Ward into like a Jalen Hurts type of player, you found something.
You know, who should be the number one overall pick? It depends for me who actually ends up with the number one overall pick.
So
is Tennessee going to sit tight?
Chance that Tennessee could trade out of that spot?
It depends. If they really are sold that Cam Ward is the guy, then you take him. If that's what you feel. If you feel he's the guy, I'm taking him regardless to what the situation is. They've taken two quarterbacks in the draft over the last several years, and Malik Willis is one. They moved on from him immediately. They looked at him and they, then they just took Will Levis. They looked at him and they like, to the coaches saying things at the press conference. So now are you convinced 1,000% when you look the general manager, the president, and the owner looks the owner in the face and says, we're taking Cam Ward, that's the guy? Are you convinced at that? Or do you have reservations? Because if you have any type of reservations that he's not the guy, then you don't do it. Don't reach because somebody is saying, you got to take a quarterback, you got to take a quarterback, you got to take a quarterback. You cannot afford to do that because at the end of the day, if you're not convinced and you convinced that Travis Hunter's the guy, you take Travis Hunter. Or Abdul Carter's the guy, you take Abdul Carter. Don't get caught up in the, you got to take a quarterback.
Hey,
don't get caught up in that.
If you work for Tennessee, where's it? If you work for Tennessee,
don't listen to me.
Do not listen to anything that Keyshawn Johnson just said. Don't listen.
Don't listen to me.
Don't listen. He's very compelling. All right, you go to book. He's got tequila. Don't listen to him. Because if Cam Ward turns out to be that guy,
then I'm gonna get fired anyway.
Maybe you can hire them to work.
I'm gonna get fired anyway. If he turned out to be that guy, I'm gonna get fired. But if I'm not 100% sure, and I reach for it,
quarterbacks all the time. You have to try.
Yeah, but
you have to swing for the fence.
Look at the quarterback position. There's certain quarterbacks that you know, that's the guy. And there's other quarterbacks that there's reservation. Do Tennessee has any reservation?
If you put in a bad situation, everybody said Caleb was the best quarterback they had seen in years. And he went
drafted.
And he went to a terrible situation.
I wasn't drafted. Because Jaden Daniels would have went to that terrible situation if I was drafted. I wasn't drafted. Because I was taking him over Caleb. Even though Caleb went to USC.
Everyone else was, though, TJ. Everyone was sold on
Not me.
Yes, not Keyshawn, but everyone else was sold.
And it was somebody else that was sold on Jaden Daniels. We know him very well.
Yeah,
he was sold. He was ready to give everything up
He's
for him.
He's supposed to give it all, and he might still have a job.
General manager ain't want to do it.
AP
might still have a job if they'd have just
give everything. He was give everything up for him. They ain't want to. They ain't want to do it.
They didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Could have had Cliff Kingsbury. Didn't want to give him a 3-year deal. Offered him a 2-year deal.
But even so, that may have not necessarily been the right situation for Jaden Daniels, where he landed in the right spot. Like you mentioned, Joy, you got 2 former head coaches, both.
For the team success, yeah. I think it might have taken a little bit longer for the team success to show
absolutely.
if he had gone there as opposed to going to Washington.
He went to a perfect situation, right circumstances and environment.
But Tennessee should get a quarterback.
I mean, he checks all the boxes for the new model quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that they shouldn't take him. I'm just saying, are they convinced?
But I also think, like, in the draft, almost every year, there are these outstanding players that could be considered better than whatever the quarterback is. Like, every once in a while, you have a quarterback that stands out, that's very obvious, number one.
No, that's
and even
true.
in those, like, I'm thinking, like, Joe Burrow, but I mean, TJ and I would talk often that people were not completely sold on Joe Burrow. Like, what is there not to be sold on?
Yeah,
like,
I really was one of those.
I wasn't. I seen it early.
But still, there were still people not sold on him. So if you need a quarterback, you got to take it.
Yeah.
You do.
And if you're wrong, it's a reboot. Got to start all over again.
It'll set you back 10 years.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.